government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Тихо, блин.
Я тебе говорю, я на качку сюда ходить не хочу.
Снимай.
Making too much money, okay? Based on a shortage, they're making too much money. I don't like it. And I should be the last one to say, because I'm a big free enterprise guy, nobody bigger. And, you know, you're going to see oil, when we're finished with Iran, you're going to see the prices drop through the floor. But they made too much money, too much money. Chevron, too much money. ExxonMobil, too much money. When you look at one company where they made 12 times what they made the year before, they got to give some of that back to the public. And they better cut the retail price, the consumer price. Too much money. You're surprised I'm saying it? I'll say it loud and clear. I'm not happy about it. Go ahead.
Time you turned off airstrikes against Iran since April to negotiate. What is your message to the American people who are wondering what has changed this time? Why should it be any different?
Well, you don't know. I don't know. I think we're going to maybe get something, but I want to give them every last chance before decapitation. It's very tough to do what we have planned, still planned. We'll see what happens. But it's a very, very tough thing to do. I think I'm very proud of the fact that I'll give people a chance. Back that big on a country, I'd rather not do it. Now, we've already, through lots of large attacks, but they were normal large. Hopefully they'll come to their senses, because what happened cannot have a nuclear weapon. There are two things, crime, but they're disgusting. They're filthy dirty. The streets are dirty. They have people lying all over the street doing you know what. They're all the same. And this is what we're going to put in it. Not going to happen in our country. It was so dirty and so disgusting. Like everything liberal becomes dirty and disgusting. Socialism, liberalism, progressivism. You know, the word progressive is such a nice word. They love using it. But the radical left isn't letting them use that word anymore. But Lafayette Park is a large park. It was known as the gateway to the West.
Okay, and I want to follow up on what you just said. Dr. Al-Sayed has made Israel a central issue in his primary. He said he, quote, often struggles with the question of whether Israel has the right to exist as a Jewish state. In the past, Senator, you have been quite clear that you do support Israel as a Jewish state. Should Dr. Al-Sayed speak with the same clarity?
Look, I think right now the immediate issue of the moment is whether or not we continue to put tens of billions of dollars into the extremist Netanyahu government, which has killed 75,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children, wounded 150,000, destroyed their infrastructure. And what the American people are saying, overwhelmingly Democrats, many independents, the majority of them, and many Republicans, especially younger Republicans, we got better things to do with our money than to continue to fund the military of Israel.
I think it's not that we are not making any mistake. Everyone is making some mistakes. But basic situation, yes, we are strong because we need to be strong in order to survive. But we are not the aggressor in this conflict. Hamas attacked us. Hezbollah attacked us 2 times. They took the initiative. Iran is doing that for years, actually. The Houthis, we don't have a border with these people. They are 2,500 kilometers from here. So we will not apologize for using our right for self-defense. And we are doing it, and every other nation on earth would have done at least what we did in order to protect its citizens. This is our first duty.
We've seen President Trump last week threatened what would have been one of the largest military campaigns, or the largest military campaign since World War II against the Iranians. And now we are, because of that, we are in talks with the Iranians. And I think there is a chance we may have a deal today or tomorrow to open the strait and...
Welcome back to the SCIF. I am on scene live at the Danbury, Connecticut Superior Court. Big news happening today, and we're going to have a kind of a different show today because, of course, the wars are continuing in Iran and Ukraine. I want to touch on that a little later in the show, but we have a massive story here in Connecticut, and we're on it. So let me just give a quick background. So a woman who we found out later was illegal ran into a cop and his girlfriend, killed them both, mother of three, the woman who died several weeks ago. And we found out later that she was illegal. And so that became a big story. But what's going on in Connecticut is there's a lot of monkey business in the elections. And we believe illegals voting is a big part of that. So our staff at the Connecticut Sentinel, ConnecticutSentinel.com, started doing research and found out that there was a woman voting of the same name and birthday in New Britain, Connecticut. So we started digging more. And once this came out, then the whole narrative from the police department and the Connecticut government changed. And they moved this hearing up actually to today. It was supposed to be several weeks ago. I believe this is like her arraignment hearing for the being pursued by the state. And there's a whole lot of questions about the warrant that was issued. Did she have a license? Did she not? The New Britain police think that she is the same person, but the governor and the Secretary of State, as you saw yesterday on our show, came out and said she is absolutely not the same person. And we are fabricating documents and that it's misinformation and that we're putting her life at risk, except that nobody can find the woman whose life is being put at risk, even the New Britain police. So a lot of questions here. We have two reporters inside who are going to try to get us information as to what's happening. So a lot going on here in Connecticut, but we want to be on this story because this has national legs moving into the midterms. Let me just do the mission brief real quick. I'm your host, Todd Wood. This is the SCIF, and this is your mission brief today. The Iran war update we'll do a little later. Ukraine hits more Wildberries warehouses, which is the Russian Amazon, trying to pressure the Russian consumer. Trump weaponization fund is shut down, at least temporarily, the government weaponization fund. RFK Jr. keeps going against Dana Bash, the vaccines, all of it. And Bessent is working with Japan. Big capital markets story there. But this story trumps them all. Not pardon my use of the Trump word, but this one trumps them all. We've got Reese on the radios coming on shortly, and we're going to dig into all of this and get the latest. And we're going to be watching my phone. So bear with us today to get texts from inside the courtroom as Melissa Ramirez goes in front of the court. So a lot going on. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And stay with us on the SCIF. Don't go anywhere.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold. often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience, and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
The pandemic, we can never be caught unprepared again. And so many Americans, when COVID hit, they had nothing in the house. Stores were shut down, and doctors' offices were shut down, and even if doctors prescribed drugs, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, pharmacists wouldn't fill the prescriptions. That was a nightmare.
Now the situation is much worse. We have these horrible supply chain problems. In our emergency medical kit at the Wellness Company, we have 8 prescription drugs that are all potentially life-saving.
Most people who died with COVID, they died in the hospital because they didn't receive early treatment.
Every American family should have one of these.
I can tell you the Wellness Company kit is the answer.
With my 35 years of experience, our team at U.S. Asset Management can deliver professional investment management, financial planning to help you target your goals, and even specialized divorce financial analysis if you need it. We are here to help you make better decisions with your money. Call U.S. Asset Management today, and let's get to work in your financial future.
Sure why that is. Okay, back. So a little bit of a transmission issue. We might have to swap to our alternate transmission satellite link here in a second, but just wanted to let you know we're outside the courtroom in Danbury Superior Court in Danbury, Connecticut, with the arraignment of Melissa Ramirez. She is charged with killing 2 individuals, one an off-duty cop and his girlfriend, mother of 3, in Connecticut recently. And there is a woman who has her exact same name and birthday who has been voting in Newbury, Connecticut. That is the crux of this. And we can't confirm or deny whether it's the same person or not, but we're asking a lot of questions. The New Britain police told us yesterday they think it's the same person, but the Stamford police and Danbury police have been issuing different, narratives, as well as the governor and the Secretary of State, because obviously if an illegal who killed a cop and his girlfriend is actually also voting as we move into the midterms, this makes Connecticut look really bad. And they pulled out all the stops to try and prevent this story from gaining legs. I just will quickly read Lamont put out a long statement describing the deaths and saying, he's sorry for the deaths and the children of the woman who died. But he says, as a result of misinformation pushed in a rush to advance a political agenda, an innocent woman has had her personal details. Okay, people, we're back live. Sorry about that. Our equipment died because of the heat. So we're back. Stand by. Reese, how are you, man? Can you hear me?
Let me turn my microphone on. Yes. Hey, you got me?
Okay, great. Yeah, I got you. Sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it. I was worried. Listen, I did a live broadcast from D.C., and in the middle of the show on the 4th of July, the 250th anniversary, the power went out in the middle of me giving one of the best monologues I ever gave in my life. So I know I know what it's like.
Our audience knows this is guerrilla reporting, so I'm back in the car where the equipment can cool down, and basically everything just shut down because it's really, really hot here, and we're right in the middle of the sun. So, look, I'm outside the courthouse in Danbury. This Melissa Ramirez, who we know killed the cop and the girlfriend, is in the courtroom, and we're going to be getting updates. But there's been a lot released over the last 24 hours. Do you want to give an overview of what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you there's so many crazy things. Aside from the fact that my investigator, Adam 12, went down over the weekend, and he specifically went down to the New Britain Police Department on Saturday, because as a former cop, he knows that that's the day when usually there's a lull in activity. And if you come at them with the questions that you're asking, it's very difficult for you to sidestep the person asking them. And it's great because he's a former cop and he knows exactly what these folks will do procedurally if they're trying to cover something up. So what they did was they delayed him. They made him wait for hours and figure he would tucker out and decide, okay, these guys are clearly not going to work with me. But he was dogged on this, as we are at Reese on the radio. We don't let anything lay around. We will be persistent. And Adam is 10 times more persistent than I am because he's on a hunch. And his hunch as a cop says that something doesn't make sense. And if we go back to the beginning, and which really brings us to today and what we've sort of analyzed as of last night, and this really caught me, but we looked at so many aspects of this, and I've talked to so many people in law enforcement, current and former, and they keep coming back to me with the same thing that I know nothing about, with these guys who are seasoned police officers telling me that I'm 100% right on this. And that is the NCIC collect information that was used by the Danbury police and most law enforcement in Connecticut to identify a perp or a victim. If someone is in that system, if they have a regular ID, a driver's license, or a drive only, the police officer has every tool at his disposal, at his fingertips, to make sure that the person he's talking to is either a threat or an ally. So I want to take everybody back to the July 13th here. This is the most important. It happens at 2:45 in the morning. This accident happens, and you have a dead off-duty police officer, his girlfriend, the mother of three, and this woman who many believe, and the police believe, drove across the yellow lines and crashed into their Harley Davidson, killing them. And everything that's in the affidavit says that they went through this NCIC database to find not only the perpetrator here, Melissa Ramirez, but the victims in this case. And they all came back with identifiers of people we know are who they are. Okay? We know that Cooper Whiteside, we know that Brittany Islami, and we know that Melissa Ramirez were all involved in this crash. There is nothing in the affidavit that says that a police officer who filed that affidavit, who filed that report, had any, confusion or we're not sure. This was all stated as matters of fact in their investigation. One officer who's off-site who looks at the NCIC report to find out who Melissa Ramirez is, to make sure that she has no priors or whatever the case may be, and to get a photograph of her. He is the person who gets to the hospital to question her. And obviously the police officer is going to ask her questions about, is the information on your driver's license the same as where you live today? Whether or not you are this age or you were born on this day. Is this your social security number? Things like that, because in order to get this case, you can't leave any stone unturned. Okay? So
Reese, let me just pull up. I have an image of that system. This is what the cop sees. This is what the cop sees in the car. So the cop's looking at this of the woman, and he could have ID'd if it was a different person, is what you're saying. Correct?
Yes. And in looking in that, he, again, goes to the hospital. He is now interviewing that person that he checked in that system you are showing on the screen now. And in no place, in nowhere in the affidavit of any of these police officers do they say, well, the NCIC picture kind of matched. They are in affirmative. that this person is the person they saw and the person that they identified in NCIC. So with that, the driver's license info ends up not only on the affidavit, it ends up on the warrant 11 days later. Now, with everything that the Secretary of the State has said, Stephanie Thomas, with everything that now the Governor Lamont has said in his statements, with everyone who has come out and suggested that the Connecticut Sentinel or Blue Lives Matter or Reese on the radio or Adam 12, the people who are investigating all of this, regardless of what they say about misinformation, this stems from the reporting of the police department in Danbury, Connecticut. No one has altered, no one has added, no one has embellished what they made available to the public. Now, this is where it goes completely off the rails. We get to the charging document, which is online available for everyone to see. And I don't know if you have a copy of this, but I think I sent it to you. I hope if you can throw it up on screen if you do have it, but I'll read it if you don't.
I'll try to find it. I
okay,
think I have it
they
somewhere.
have charged Melissa Ramirez with 5 crimes. Of course, she is charged with manslaughter in the 2nd degree with a motor vehicle, a C felony, 1 count, another manslaughter in the 2nd degree with a motor vehicle, C felony, 2nd count. This is for the victims, Officer Whiteside and Brittany Islami. They are the people who were killed in this accident. And then there are 3 more charges. Those charges are failure to drive in a proper lane, traveling unreasonably fast, and illegal operating of a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs. There is no charge for driving without a driver's license. Now, why is that important? I am not a law enforcement officer. I have never been a law enforcement officer. I've had engagements with law enforcement. Doesn't make me one. But as the old saying goes in my house, I don't have to be an electrician to know that you don't stick a fork in the outlet. If you were making the case that this woman was driving without a license, every police officer said to me that if I want to bring home the fact that the perpetrator in this case was reckless beyond a reasonable doubt, I am going to add that she was driving without a legal driver's license. Why? Because I charged her with failure to drive in a proper lane or traveling unreasonably fast. I charged those crimes to show to the jury or to the prosecutor or to anyone, even a court of public opinion, that the reason why we are charging this individual, we are stacking the deck on her because her inability to obtain a legal driver's license shows how reckless this woman was. But what did we find out, Todd? We found out that they lowered the woman's bail from $500,000 to $300,000 because she is, I guess, a pillar of the community. A pillar of the community who is an illegal, driving without a driver's license under the influence of drugs and alcohol that kills 2 people, and she manages to get her bail reduced.
Almost in half.
Almost in half.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're talking about a woman who is responsible for the death of a Bridgeport cop and a mother of 3. And the person who gets practically some leeway in essence to get out of jail, what's the reason for that?
Yeah.
She was driving without a license and she committed all of these crimes. In fact, one police officer told me that the failure to drive in a proper lane is like it's a slap on the wrist in most cases, and I wouldn't put that in this charging document without the driving without a driver's license, because I need to show that the severity of the crime that was committed, that this person is reckless. Also, you would never lower the bail because the person is an illegal, which means that she's a flight risk.
Right. You would think so.
So why are they pulling out all the stops to protect a woman who, in this case, isn't illegal, drove without a license, killed 2 people. One happens to be a cop. The other one happens to be a mother of 3. Now, I've already contacted Mothers Against Drunk Driving, who I understand has a lot of weight on issues like this. This is right in their wheelhouse. If there is a court case that actually allows Melissa Ramirez to get out of jail on a surety bond of $300,000, of course, that was reduced from $500,000, and there's no charges for driving without a driver's license, something is up.
Well, Reese, the whole issue of the driver's license, you're right. They did not charge her for not having one. But I believe in the warrant, it talks about how they verified via the driver's license it was Melissa Ramirez. And then they said later that she didn't produce a driver's license. So
Correct.
how does that, work? How does that rectify itself, or does it?
What I truly believe, I'll tell you this is what I really believe. You don't charge something that that they can prove exists, right? So if I charge you with driving without a license, I can get that charge dropped right out because I can produce a driver's license. And I think that the district attorney in this case knows it.
Yeah. So we've gone from the Secretary of State saying we are faking documents to Lamont issuing a statement that there's this other person, but the New Britain police can't find this other person. Am I correct about that?
That is 100% right, because they went to the same address that myself, Adam 12, and Sam the Man on the Street. We all arrived at the address that shows up as the last known address of this other Melissa Ramirez. We got to the door, and one apartment reads 1S, meaning 1 South, and the other one reads 1, well, the other one doesn't read anything. So we, of course, could tell which was 1 South, which one was 1 North. We go to the 1 North, we knock on the door, a woman comes out, and we ask her specifically, do you know Melissa Ramirez? Well, that woman says, I'm Dominican. I don't know her. I don't know why she said that she was Dominican, but she says, I don't know her. We showed her a picture of the Melissa Ramirez who is incarcerated. We showed it from the picture that was in the news. The woman at the door says, I don't know who that is. And then she walked away. So then we find out that the police department goes to that same address. They also find no one is at that location either. So this is supposed to be her last known address. No one seems to find her. I called her. A woman picked up the phone and immediately hung up. Dan Harr of the Connecticut Insider says he spoke to her, only got 2 quotes, but claims that she said nothing about death threats. We asked the question, well, if she didn't say to you that she was receiving death threats, but yet the Secretary of State is referring to her getting death threats. 1, what are those death threats? And 2, why were they never reported to the police? We found that odd when we went to New Britain Police Department. They knew nothing of the sort. Making a death threat to this woman is a crime, and it should be investigated, especially when it reaches the level of the governor and the Secretary of the State. You would think that would be met with some degree of severity or alarm. They did not do it. No one's done it. Which is also baffling to me as well. But I got to mention something to this, and I hope that you dig into it. The Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas, did an interview with NBC Connecticut. And she said something that really bothered me as to why she would even utter it. In trying to suggest that do not trust what you read online, Stephanie Thomas even went further and said, don't trust the news media and what they report without verification, which I thought was, why would any public official be saying not to believe the news in this case? First, it was online sleuths. Now she's saying, and I have the quote, I'm going to be playing it on the show today. She's saying, don't even trust the news. And I'm like, I don't sound weird, but that's kind of our talking point, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
Is Stephanie Thomas on our side saying not to believe the mainstream news media? I think what she's saying in this case is there are going to be news media outlets who are going to dig deeper into this, and there's going to be more egg on people's faces. And again, we sent the message out to the governor's team, his communications director, I think her name is Carolyn Volman, and I asked 3 very important questions. So far now, the governor and the Secretary of the State have stated that this Melissa Ramirez is receiving death threats. My first question is, what is the nature of these death threats? Are they about the killing of the police officer and a mother of three? Or are they related to her voting in 3 elections? Because I find it odd, as you would, Todd. Why would anybody be making threats against Melissa Ramirez about voting? It makes more sense to me that it would be about the killing of a police officer and a mother of 3. That would create, or that would excite more people to, make some sort of threat like that. And it is wrong to do so. We agree with that. But the nature of the threat is important. You said she's receiving death threats. If you've spoken to this woman, what would the nature of those threats? Again, you're saying that. My question number 2 is, are you suggesting that the death threats have to do with elections? And if that isn't true, why are you associating the two? Were you trying to?
I think what we're coming to also at the Connecticut Sentinel and at CDM is that this may have pulled up the corner of something that's covering up something much, much bigger. And that could be massive fraud in Connecticut, because there's businesses this woman are involved in. There is trucking companies this woman is involved in. We don't know. I mean, but trucks can carry a lot of things. So, and the government of Connecticut is really freaked out about that. This is the truth. They're making stuff up to try to say this is not a big deal. So maybe it's about the voting, Reese, but maybe it's something much bigger. And I know that our team is working on it, as well as yours, to find out what that might be. Any thoughts on that?
No, you're 100% right on all fronts. I think the cover-up here is the fact that what Ned Lamont, Susan Bicewicz and Lieutenant Governor William Tong, and of course the Secretary of the State Stephanie Thomas, have made. I mean, they have overextended themselves in holding press conferences about the integrity of our elections. Yes. They have done this so with such fervor that these stories sort of coming out after those, proclamations, if you will, about the integrity of the elections in Connecticut is only making the suspicion larger. It couldn't have been a day or two after they did this whole press conference to respond to Donald Trump's Thursday night primetime briefing that we get the Seyo Secunjanin story. So it completely slaps in the face of everything they've done. So every bit of press that they got from that story was squandered with the Seyo Secunjanin story, to only then be met with the Melissa Ramirez story adds fuel to a fire. Plus, add on to this, and I know you've mentioned it, and I know this Connecticut Sentinel has talked about it at length. We know that all of this kind of spiraled out of their own control, because just recently they signed a bill to extend no excuse absentee ballots.
Right.
They did that after they fought and won at least one battle in keeping the voter rolls away from the federal government. Right. So while all of this is happening as people are trying to get the voter rolls to make sure that the voter rolls are not suspicious in nature, there aren't illegals on those rolls, Connecticut fought against that. And then in everyone's face, after they paraded around their win, then signed a bill to overextend the absentee ballot process. Don't forget, they also had the audacity to pass a law that said if you came into a recycling bin with more than 1,000 bottles, you had to show an ID to recycle 5-cent cans, 10-cent cans, I apologize. You had to show an ID for that, but they definitely wouldn't require one for an election. So all of this that they're doing and literally twisting themselves in a pretzel to say, don't worry, our elections can't be tampered with. More and more information starts coming out that we have a flawed system, and it's a flawed system that they created all the way back from 2015 in the motor voter rolls when they settled against the former Attorney General Loretta Lynch to make sure that you can get on the voter rolls on the DMV application. They went one step further. They didn't just settle with the federal government. They made it easier for people to be enrolled or to be registered to vote, and that was the beginning of all of this nightmare that we're seeing today. And we were told early, we told people early, at least the Republicans did, that in making it easier to get on the voter rolls in Connecticut. We were going to have problems like this, and now they're coming to fruition, and they are doing everything they can to stop the bleeding. But it won't stop. I'm sorry. The patient is dying on the floor, and there's no recovery.
Well, let me just, our audience, people who may have just joined us, we have a massive story in Connecticut. Reese has been all over it with his team and our team at the Connecticut Sentinel and CDM. We're live from the Danbury Courthouse in Danbury, Connecticut, Superior Court, where Melissa Ramirez is being arraigned for the death of a police officer off duty. She killed them while drunk under the influence. And then it came out that she was illegal. And then it came out that she may have been voting. And the state of Connecticut came out and said, well, there's this other person with the same name, 3 of 4 same names, same birthday, that exists, that's being harassed and has death threats, except no police department can find this woman and no police department can verify any death threats. And New Britain Police Department, if I am understanding it correctly, literally said, and we're trying to get the body cameras to Adam 12, and I don't know if you were there, that it's the same person. So there's going to be a lot more coming out on this, and the reaction from the Connecticut government tells you a lot more that there's something here. And we're also investigating massive fraud in Connecticut that may have turned up because this woman owns multiple businesses. How did she get a social security number? How does she run these businesses? What are they doing? They look very sketchy. There are, they're trucking companies. They're like, we do anything kind of storefronts. I mean, it's quite a hornet's may have kicked here. But anything else you had to add, Reese, before we move on?
Yeah. So I'm getting this. Okay. 2 counts of DUI, let go on probation. Apparently that's interesting. First illegal on probation, violated probation for 2 counts of DUI, let go on probation. I just got that from inside the courtroom from Adam 12.
So you're getting quicker than me. That's great. Thank you.
Well, that's okay. So again, this is another part. Okay, I get that we have a flawed system in Connecticut that is, I would say, in most cases, very favorable, if not kind and generous, to illegals in the state. Yeah. No issue with that. But what we have here is, as many people would argue, a 2-tier justice system. Where you and I living in Connecticut, if we had 2 DUIs, the likelihood, if we didn't have a driver's license, that we would be put on probation, okay, and had no legal status here. Well, actually, if we had legal status here and we had 2 DUIs without a driver's license, I would assume that the police department would throw the book at you or I. But out of some fear of retribution on the behalf of illegals, that you would just give a woman without a driver's license probation for 2 DUIs. And again, it's like 2 counts of DUI.
So
let go
read
on
that
probation.
again. Read that again, Reese. This is coming from the courtroom.
That's right, coming from the courtroom. First illegal. This is Adam 12 is finding out apparently from the district attorney who is making the case for why they should not release Ms. Ramirez. They're saying the first illegal on probation who violated probations for 2 counts of DUI. She was let go on probation. So that means that, and think about the case where we are in now, folks. I want you to hear me out when I say this. The prosecutor is now making a case that this individual without a license has driven under the influence twice before this. This resulting in the death of a cop and a mother of 3. All of that information allowed a probation. A bail reduction from $500,000 to $300,000 because she is a pillar of the community. I say with quotations, and they're about to let her out if she can make this bail with an ankle bracelet. This woman has absolute disregard for our laws in many more ways than one. Coming into the country illegally and then driving without a valid license under the influence of alcohol.
Wow, that's amazing. So we're waiting on more to come out from the courtroom.
Adam was going to tell me.
Those are not the. So that is not the prosecutor saying what he's going to push for, or is it a court decision?
No, we don't. I don't know. He's not saying that, but what Adam is sort of, I guess, is dictating back to me is that as this is going on in the courtroom, the prosecutor is again making their argument to why Ramirez should not be let out of jail, not be granted bond. With that, saying that here are the reasons why. She has a past record of doing bad things. One in particular is driving under the influence twice. She had two counts of DUI and let go on probation. So if I'm a prosecutor, that's what I want to do, is miss past deeds related to this deed that she's being held for. This would say to the judge, yeah, clearly this woman, even when she was punished before and given a light sentence, that meant nothing to her because her actions led getting sorry, two individuals. If nothing says you can't let this woman back out in the street, then her past misdeeds.
Yeah. Okay, Reese. I tell you what, can you just text? I'm going to move on to some other stories. Can you text me if something else comes? And then,
do your thing. I appreciate. Listen, you have been absolutely gracious to me by allowing me on, and I'm very honored to be here with you on this story. I think we need more legs on it, so I'm so glad that you guys are doing it. You guys started all of this. I'm just piggybacking off you to my audience. So it's been fantastic working with you. Whenever you need, I'll text you when I get it.
All right, and before you go, tell people about your show, where they can find it and all that.
Yes. So you can always go to WTIC.com. I promote them first instead of promoting myself. I have no idea why. But you can always check out ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. So you can follow us on Facebook and on X. You can see all the content that I have there. I post things almost every day. And they're all funny and lighthearted, as well as the serious, very serious issues that we deal in. I cover everything from local Connecticut politics to national stuff. And I'll admit, like my hero Rush Limbaugh, I think that we have been most accurate on all of those issues as we possibly can. So if you really want the real deal and an understanding of the news media as it happens around you, we're a great place to go. So that's ReeseOnTheRadio.com, as you can see right there, or you can check me out at WTIC.com from 2 to 6.
All right, Reese. Text me if you get anything else from Adam 12 inside the courtroom here in Danbury Superior Court. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Soon, guys.
Excited to announce that we're having our biggest Made in America sale ever. We just put huge discounts on products made right here in the USA. My Pillow bed pillows, body pillows, go anywhere pillows, bolster pillows, all made with my patented adjustable fill. Mattresses, mattress toppers, mattress pads, adjustable bed frames, mattress foundations, and so much more. All made right here in the USA. And now we're expanding our USA products beyond just quality sleep. Like the cross I wear every day, now available in both men's and women's. We even have USA-made socks. And are you tired of being tired? Try our new health beverage, Rev 7. Or how about my coffee, the greatest coffee ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get deep discounts on all these products. Plus, for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Divorce is tough, but your finances don't have to be. I'm David Cross, and I'm a certified divorce financial analyst practitioner. My job is to help you get a fair financial settlement in your divorce and to guide you to smarter money decisions. Find out how we can help you. U.S. Asset Management. It's your money.
A warm welcome here at the National Press Club. Welcome to the journalists, welcome to the Embra team, and welcome to the other guests that we have here. I'm going to announce, and as some of you guessed it right when they came in, the first E2 order by an American operator. And that operator is Avello. We believe this is really a strategic shift to unlock profitability for the customer. I'm very pleased that we have Andrew Levy here as the CEO of Avello, and I'm very pleased to give the stage to share a little bit more about what Avello is going to do with the E2 195. Thank you very much.
Couldn't be more excited to be here as part of this historic announcement. We have such a great cultural fit as companies, so we're very, very excited to be Embraer's newest customer. We launched our airline in April of 21, And our target is focusing on small secondary airports of large metro areas. We've carried over 8 million customers since we started on 63,000 flights. And we've done all these things with 1,200 of the greatest crew members I could ever imagine having, and many of them are here with me today. This is the right airplane for us. It's going to open up opportunities for us that no other aircraft can serve. The best thing about the airplane, of course, is you will not find a middle seat on this airplane. It doesn't exist. We won't have any to offer. It's going to be the best cabin in the United States, and we're so excited about that. This is going to elevate our experience to the highest level, and we think our customers are absolutely going to love the airplane.
Fighting soldiers from the sky, fearless men who jump and die, men who mean just what they say, the brave men of the Green Beret, silver wings.
Okay, people, we're outside the Danbury Superior Courthouse with the arraignment of Melissa Ramirez, who was arrested for killing a cop, off-duty cop, and his mother girlfriend several weeks ago. Found out she was illegal, and there's question as to whether she was voting. The state of Connecticut is saying that it's another person altogether and mistaken identity, and we should just stop talking about it. But that is not confirmed by any stretch of the word. So we're continuing to investigate because this is a big deal moving into the midterms. President Trump just gave a speech on all of this and how the voter rolls and the cheating is ongoing. So we're still trying to find out if this other Melissa Ramirez even exists. We've had people go try to find that out, even talk to the New Britain Police Department where she has been voting, but they can't find her. They don't know who she is, and they even said it's probably the same person that's in the courthouse here. And I had to go in the car because it's so hot here. The sun, it's cranking down, and all the equipment shut down. So I'm in the car in the AC outside the courthouse. But let's talk a few stories before we. I'm waiting on Reese, and we have two other reporters inside, Adam 12 and someone else, who are following the case in the courtroom and are going to be texting us if anything happens. It may go on for a while, some stories here, and then shut down the show, and then go to ConnecticutSentinel.com. That's ConnecticutSentinel.com, spelled with a C. Our Revolutionary War paper, spelled the old way, in Connecticut. It's been very impactful. ConnecticutSentinel.com. This is where you can find the latest on this story that has national legs. And as I said earlier, the White House is now aware of this situation. So let's go through a few stories you should be aware of on CDM today. Kennedy is really going after the vaccine narratives and the vax pushers. He did this twice with Dana Bash over the weekend. So you can find all this coverage on CDM. I won't go through it. It's been out there in the news pretty heavily. This morning, a cargo ship was struck in the Strait of Hormuz. With words, the information war continues. Trump and Iran threatening each other. It's really hard to tell exactly what's going on. We haven't been in the Pentagon press room for months now. And hopefully that lawsuit will be resolved soon and we can go back to reporting direct from the Pentagon, because we have access to the building, but we can't get in the building now without an escort, even to the press room. This next story, excuse me. Zelensky fires the U.S. ambassador as that government kind of is unwinding. He's bringing in people he can trust, and the situation is not good in Ukraine. Ukraine also hit and struck several targets near Moscow. All of these stories are on CDM, but the Wildberries complex, the Russian Amazon, this, you can see the cloud there, smoke rising in Moscow. So that is ongoing, as well as kind of a tit for tat, strikes back and forth. 600s of drones going both ways every night, and it's getting quite dangerous, and we're worried about escalation. Another story: Todd Blanche killed the Trump weaponization fund in order to get his confirmation through the Senate. Tillis and Cornyn were holding back, of course, the two rhinos. So that could, however, be reinstated with an executive order, we're told. So we will continue on that story. And then you have Trump and dollar diplomacy with Scott Bessent with Japan, doing some intervention with the yen in Japan. We'll get our financial guys on soon to talk about that again. So kind of a crazy day today. We're outside the courthouse. You can see that's the courthouse right there. And we are, actually it's right there. We are waiting on word from the arraignment of Melissa Ramirez inside the courthouse from 2 reporters, and we will get that to you as soon as possible. We'll put it on social media when we have it on CDM and also Connecticut Sentinel, and we will be posting stories, I'm sure, with all the information on the Connecticut Sentinel after this show today. But we wanted to get this in person and really put a spotlight on this because this is a huge story as we move into the midterms with illegals possibly voting while they also killed a cop and his girlfriend. So that's all we have for this show. I'm going to close it here, and then we will stay on our social media, and we will be back with more today as this case wraps up. Thanks for joining us today. Sorry about the mix-up in the beginning when the heat shut down our equipment. We're going to store that one in our memory to not let that happen again. But we'll be back tomorrow, 10 to noon, Monday through Friday on the SCIF. Thank you.